the Mexican Grand Prix, when he received a 10-second penalty that he felt was completely unjustified. Hamilton's radio message was blunt and to the point, in a rare moment of frustration that showed just how angry he was about the situation. And what made things even more complicated was that Max Verstappen received no penalty for his part in the incidents that led to Hamilton going off the track in the first place. The incident that sparked all this controversy happened on lap 6 of the race, when Verstappen and Hamilton were battling for position at turn 1. Verstappen made an aggressive move that forced Hamilton wide off the track, and as the two drivers continued their battle through the next few corners, both of them ended up going off the circuit at various points. At turn 4, Hamilton attempted to go around the outside of Verstappen, but locked up his brakes and went off the track. And when he rejoined, he emerged ahead of Verstappen, which is what caught the attention of the race stewards and led to the penalty that would drop Hamilton from 3rd place down to 8th by the end of the race. What happened at turn 4 was the moment the stewards focused on, and they decided that Hamilton had left the track and gained an advantage by rejoining ahead of Verstappen instead of giving the position back or taking the escape road as the race director's instructions required. The penalty was a 10-second time penalty that was announced on lap 18, and when Hamilton's race engineer informed him of the decision over the radio, the British driver's response was immediate and angry, before adding a few laps later that "these guys are unbelievable," in reference to the race stewards and their decision. The reason Hamilton was so frustrated wasn't just about receiving the penalty itself, but about the fact that Verstappen received no penalty at all for the moves he made during their battle. The stewards investigated the incidents at turn 1 and turn 3, where Verstappen had also gone off the track, but they decided that neither of those situations warranted any punishment and gave Verstappen no further action on both occasions. From Hamilton's perspective, this felt inconsistent because both drivers had gone off the track during their battle, but only one of them ended up being penalised for it. Hamilton wasn't the only driver who questioned the stewarding decisions during the race, because his former Mercedes teammate George Russell was also vocal about what he saw during the opening lap. Russell had been complaining on the team radio from lap 1 when Verstappen ran wide at turn 1 at the start and cut the corner, and Russell said over the radio that Verstappen just cut the corner, braked late and cut the grass, before adding that "it's ridiculous, the guy can just cut the grass and keep position. No penalty, no nothing." Russell's frustration was clear even from the opening lap, and it showed that other drivers were also noticing the incidents involving Verstappen and questioning why there were no consequences. The battle between Hamilton and Verstappen brought back memories of their intense rivalry from the 2021 season when they fought for the championship, and it showed that the competitive tension between these two drivers is still there, even though they're no longer fighting for titles against each other. The racing between them was hard and aggressive, which is what fans want to see, but it also raised questions about where the line is between hard racing and racing that goes over the limit. What made this situation particularly interesting was the context of where it happened, because Mexico has historically been a strong track for Verstappen, who has won 5 of the last 7 Mexican Grand Prix. Verstappen is comfortable racing aggressively at this circuit, and he knows how to push the limits here, which is part of what makes him such a successful driver. The question that Hamilton and others were asking was whether the limits were being applied consistently to all drivers, or whether some drivers were getting more leeway than others. The impact of the penalty on Hamilton's race was significant because he had started in 3rd place and was running in 3rd place when the incidents happened, which meant he was on track for a podium finish before the 10-second penalty was applied. By the time the penalty was served and the race finished, Hamilton had dropped all the way down to 8th place, while Verstappen ended up finishing 3rd on the podium. The contrast between their final positions made the penalty decision even more frustrating for Hamilton, because he felt that the driver who had initiated the contact ended up in a better position than the driver who had been on the receiving end of it. Hamilton's explanation for why he went off at turn 4 was that the grip level in that area of the track was very low, which is why he locked up his brakes and couldn't make the corner when he tried to go around the outside of Verstappen. The Mexican circuit sits at high altitude, which affects how the cars handle and how much grip is available. And turn 4 in particular is known for being a tricky corner where drivers can easily lose control. Hamilton felt that he had no choice but to go off the track once he'd locked up, and he didn't think it was fair to be penalised for a situation that came about because of the aggressive racing that had happened in the corners before. The bigger issue that this incident highlights is the ongoing challenge of consistent stewarding in Formula One, where different stewards can interpret similar incidents in different ways depending on the specific circumstances. The stewards have a difficult job because they need to make quick decisions during the race based on limited information, and they need to balance allowing hard racing with penalising drivers who gain unfair advantages. In this case, the stewards decided that Hamilton's actions at Turn 4 warranted a penalty, while Verstappen's actions at Turn 1 and Turn 3 did not, and that's where the disagreement came from. George Russell's comments about the situation really captured the frustration that some drivers feel when they see incidents being judged differently. When one driver goes off the track multiple times during a race without